Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Venky's Diaries. And I've got Venky, the OG, with me here. I'd like to welcome him first on the show. Thank you for joining us, Venky.
Thank you very much, Kiran.
Exciting game yesterday, went down to the wire. Let's just talk a bit about that before we jump into today's game. The last over debacle, Venky, how convinced were you to go with Tom Curran over somebody like Rabada?
Well, yeah, I mean, you said it right. So everybody were thinking on those same lines, actually. Would it be Tom Curran or would it be Rabada? Akshar also had one. Of course, you couldn't, have him bowl in the last couple of overs. So we also talk about 19th over being the crucial over in the shortest format, okay, in T20 formats. So I was actually not surprised about Tom Curran bowling the 20th over, but I was surprised about Rabada not bowling the 19th over. 19th over was obviously given to Avesh Khan, where he gave away quite a few runs. Actually, that was a big over for CSK. So here, when Rabada had bowled just 3 overs, he had not completed. He scored of overs. He still had 1 over to go. So why not bring Rabada? Why not bring all his experience into play in the 19th over? So that was what was more surprising for me. Yes, Tom Curran bowling the 20th over. He had those slower ball. He had picked up a couple of wickets as well before that. So could be the Rishabh Pant captain could have had some bit of confidence on Tom Curran bowling the 20th over, but I was surprised that Avesh took the 19th over and not Rabada. So here I feel it clearly shows the inexperience from Rishabh Pant, and on one side if it was inexperience from Rishabh Pant as a captain, on the other side we saw an amazing finisher who finished the game for CSK, isn't it? That was wonderful to watch after quite some time.
Indeed, it was kind of vintage Dhoni coming back to the old form and kind of rescuing the team. Just to touch upon this point before we move on to today's game, Avesh Khan did bowl the 19th over. He did pick up 1 wicket. He did he did concede some runs, but he did also leave 13 runs in the bank for the last over. Would you still say that 19th over should have been bowled by Rabada, having seen what Avesh did?
See, in hindsight, you can always think on those lines. But Kiran, let me tell you, it is not easy actually with the kind of pressure that one is going through, and with a bit of inexperience as far as Rishabh Pant is concerned. So obviously, there would be some collective decision that would have been that would have taken there. It's not just Rishabh Pant's decision. So you have to get your senior players involved in those sort of situations. Yes, you always normally you always have to be, say, about a couple of overs ahead in terms of your who's going to come the next over, who's going to bowl the next over, who's going to bowl the 19th over. I mean, you should have already had those decisions in the 17th, 18th over itself. So this is where I feel, when Rabada had 1 over to go, so why Rabada was not made to bowl the 19th over? And in fact, if you see Avesh Khan, we saw him bowl against RCB also. The 20, and he was he was not spot on as far as his Yorkers are concerned. Obviously, what happened here in the 19th over as well, when Avesh Khan was bowling, they were expecting those Yorkers. They knew it, because he doesn't have a good change of pace. Maybe he can just roll his wrist, but he doesn't have a good change of pace. But look, it was a great game. I mean, we can just go on
and on about it.
Experience, absolutely, talking about the inexperience of Rishabh Pant or the Delhi Capitals and the experience of CSK. But in the show, we did speak about the game itself. It's going to be a cracker, and it was. It did. Yeah, it did live up to that expectations and live up to that label.
Yeah, and what else would you need? I mean, as a cricketing fan, like seeing MS come and finish the game like the way he did was something which was, great to watch for the sport. Okay, so let's move on. Guys, we all know that Chennai is there as the first team to enter the finals. Now the other three teams are going to fight for it. The two teams that are fighting for the match against Delhi next up would be RCB and KKR. So let's dive into that, Venky.
Well, look, Kiran, actually, yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting because we have seen some low-scoring matches and also fairly decent scores that has been put on board as well, like 160 and so on. So, considering this, I mean, I would say a 160, 170. I would see normally T20 match 160, 170 is sort of a par score. If the pitch is good to post 160 in Sharjah, I would say you need to look at 175. Or else if the pitch is not so great, then 160 could be a big score. So I would somewhere be happy if team batting first would put up a score of say about 160, 170, because we have seen in the Middle East, second innings tends to be slightly easier to bat on because the dew factor, one, and secondly, once there is a bit of dew, even a little bit of dew as well matters a lot, where the pitch settles down quite well, and the batsman can play their shots, can chase the score. One, and secondly, even a little bit of dew, the bowlers would be finding it difficult to grip the ball, which in fact we saw, in the last game that was yesterday between DC and CSK. The bowlers were finding it a bit difficult to grip the ball. We could see them literally rubbing the ball and taking the dew off the ball. And yeah, I mean, there will be very less turn, so the spinners might not be effective enough. So in that sense, I would say 160, 170 would be a decent total. And look, it's not a big ground like Dubai or Abu Dhabi. It's a small. Having said that, we have also not seen that many sixers that have been hit in that ground, Sharjah. So that shows that it's not easy to bat on, right? So I would say 160, 170 would be a good score.
Good competitive score. Also, talking about a bit about these two teams, both of them are coming from a victory off their back in the last one, but also in the last time the two of them faced each other, RCB got a drubbing. They were all out for 90 or something. How would the two teams would be looking up for this challenge? Are they coming off with the thought that we won the previous game, like RCB for that matter? We were beaten DC. We're going to be going all the way, or do you think there might be some thinking of, what is the other team going to throw up with? What is their 11 going to be? What are we going to do about it? Do you think that kind of a cat and mouse kind of a situation might be happening?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yes. I mean, there'll be a lot of thoughts that will be going on in both the camps, I would say, and there'll be a lot of discussions as well. But they would like to keep those discussions as simple as possible. I have been in those situations, especially not as a player though, as support staff. I know how things would be, what sort of thoughts that would be running in the player's mind, what sort of thoughts that would be going on in the captain's mind. It could be Virat Kohli, or on the side it's Eoin Morgan, and what thoughts that would be going on in the dressing room as well. So there'll be a lot of thoughts. So I think it's very important to keep the dressing room environment positive, and keep it as calm as possible, and not have too many discussions. This is today's an eliminator, mind you, and the more discussions you have, the more confusions that you could create. So I think very important to keep it as simple as possible, because they've all played 14 matches. Now, what more? I mean, you can't have more discussions after having played 14 matches and knowing the opposition well, right?
Yeah.
So I think there might not be many changes, I would say, as far as the team is concerned. But I guess it's going to be interesting to watch whether they would make a change here or there. Would RCB, stick to the same side that they played against? I think DC, and yeah, I mean, both are. I feel both the team are equally balanced, I would say.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because both of them have similar balanced sides with them to kind of come into this game. Talking about RCB a bit, couple of things that you would want to talk about is, one is number 3. Would you still have Bharat over there? And also the fourth foreign player, is Dan Christian still your fourth man?
Yeah, there is going to be. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about number three. You're absolutely right, and also Dan Christian's place in the 11.
Yeah.
I would say that RCB would go with the same 11. They're not going to change at this juncture because
I think you know the captain pretty well than most of us do. So I think you've got it right here.
so it would be Bharat. They would give him that responsibility. And I would say that three is a very crucial position. And so since Bharat is playing and played an outstanding knock against Delhi Capitals in the last game, I would still want him to go there and play his game
Mm.
instead of saying that I need to be playing a role of a finisher or I need to be playing till the end and those sort of things. So I don't
Yeah.
think he should have any of those thoughts in his mind. Play freely. I think when he plays freely, he's a good batsman. We have seen in a couple of knocks that he has played.
Mhm.
So I think that's what he needs to be doing, and hopefully that's what the message would have been from the team management to Bharat. And yes, I would definitely go in with Dan Christian because Dan Christian would bring in an option of the all rounder for Virat Kohli.
Yeah. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and a bit, and also he can give in say about a couple of overs when he needs to look at the sixth option that we've been talking about. So he can go to Dan Christian, throw the ball to Dan Christian, and ask him to bowl a couple of overs. So in that sense, I think it's pretty balanced as far as Royal Challengers Bangalore are concerned.
Bangalore. Speaking about KKR, resurgent, they're looking really like a good unit now. One thing that they're still, or rather, two things that they're still a little skeptical about is one is the captain's batting form, and the other one is will they have a fit Andre Russell ever playing IPL this season? These two questions need to be answered.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think they definitely need Dre Russ in their 11. I would say Kiran because he brings in a completely different dynamic to the team. With his bowling, with his batting, with his presence itself. I would say. I
Yeah.
think amazing presence on the field. A very strong hitter, and one season that rhythm. Suppose if he gets to play in the 11, and one season the rhythm of getting a couple of shots off his bat. I'm telling you, he can turn the game. He can be really dangerous, right? And
Mhm.
and even his misses in a small ground like Sharjah could clear
Oh
easily.
yeah.
So uh,
Would you, Venky? Sorry, I'm interrupting you there. Would you play a 50, 60, or a 70% fit Andre in your team?
Uh, I would go with that. Yeah, if he's 70% fit, or yeah, 70 to 80% fit, I would definitely go in with Dre Rush.
Okay,
And
you would gamble.
yeah, even if he doesn't get to bowl, or even if he can't be able to bowl, say for example, I would still go with him because of his batting ability. For the simple reason that Eoin Morgan is not getting any runs.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think there is a bit of a concern in the middle order, especially in number 5 and 6. Till number 4, I think they've been batting brilliantly with Shubman Gill, Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana, and Rahul Tripathi. They've been doing exceedingly well. And it's the form of Eoin Morgan is what I feel is a concern for KKR. So would this be the game for Eoin Morgan? To come good for KKR? Would the law of averages catch up in
Yeah.
the other way? He's not among. Probably he's game for him to
You
get
would be hoping so.
so it will be yeah his form is very important. His runs from the bat is extremely important for KKR, and we know how good he is in T20s. All right,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean if he gets some runs, I think it'll be wonderful for KKR, and if he gets going, they can put a score of 180 as well,
Yeah.
and. If that happens, whichever team bats first, put say about 170, 180 on board, say, then it is going to be a mouth-watering contest.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope that we get a high scoring, or even if it's a decent to low scoring game, let it go to the last over. Coming quickly to a couple of players that you're keen or you're watching out for today from RCB's camp.
Um, I would like to see Devdutt Padikkal, I think, taking more responsibility. Playing playing with some maturity as far as shot selection is concerned. Because we have seen him. I mean, he's great talent. He's a fantastic talent. And he's not living up to that talent. I think the skill that he has, I think that's fantastic. Being a left-hand opening batsman, I think everything is in his favor. But then for some reason, he's finding shots completely out of the book, and
Mm.
and getting out for for deliveries which doesn't deserve a wicket. You see,
Mm.
so I think this is where I feel perhaps if he just stick to basic, and play those proper shots, proper cricketing shots through the line. I've been saying about this, like what Ruturaj Gaikwad does, and what he did in the last game as well. I mean, it was not that he tried to do too many things. It's just simple cricket. And so if Devdutt Padikkal does it, I think that'll be nice to see. And of course, who else? Mohammad Siraj or Harshal Patel, slower one. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. How? I mean, it's been extremely effective. His slower ones.
Yeah,
So
he's on the cusp of breaking Dwayne Bravo's record of 32 wickets in a season. I mean, he's getting close there. Harshal Patel, speaking about him. Uh, how impressive has he been this season, especially seeing the fact that, RCB were always looking out to have this kind of a bowler with them who would come and win them the games in the middle over. How impressive has he been for you?
Kiran, the problem that RCB always had in all their previous seasons is the death overs. Bowling in the death overs especially. So now they have found two bowlers. I would say it's not just Harshal Patel
Mm.
because of the change of pace or because he's taking wickets. It's also Mohammad Siraj's positive intent. I think even Mohammad Siraj has contributed quite a lot for the success of this team. I think we normally not many talk about Siraj's bowling or his body language or his intent. I think what you can see in Mohammad Siraj's bowling is a positive intent that no matter whether he's bowling in the power play or whether he's bowling in the death, I think the intent and the execution as well. Of his Yorkers, especially outside the off stump, has been terrific. So he might not be amongst wickets, but then he has definitely created some pressure for the batsmen. For of course for Harshal Patel to bag more wickets with his change of pace. And yes, Harshal Patel has done beautifully well, and he's used those slower ones beautifully well. He's pitched the ball in those right areas up to the batsman. So I've always said
Mm.
slower ones have to be bowled up to the batsman, and which he has done consistently well.
Yeah, a couple of great points because pushing it up becomes a little more difficult for the batters to hit. And also Siraj's point, just want to finish it. He's bowling at around seven economy rate, which is unbelievable for 2020 standards. So you're bang on. These two guys have definitely done something well for RCB this season that they have missed for quite a while. Speaking about KKR, they have got these two mystery spinners who have been doing the job for them. I mean, it's unfair to say that they are the only reason that they're doing well, but it's great to have those two guys in your team.
Oh, of course, yes. Any day, isn't it? I think they've for KKR to reach this position in the playoffs and play the Eliminator. I think these two have contributed quite a bit. Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narine. I think it's very difficult for any batsman to pick them because you don't know whether the ball is coming in or going out. I mean, they troubled the best of the batsmen, whether it's Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli or an MS Dhoni.
Yeah.
So best of the batsmen they have troubled. So I'm sure RCB would be probably planning quite a bit in terms of how to handle these two, and they're bowling. They're sort of bowling well in tandem. Both Varun Chakravarti and Sunil. Just in their 8 overs, they're not giving away runs. Their economy is brilliant on one side, and also they're picking wickets as well. So that makes them even more dangerous. So they will definitely look to make inroads and use, and Eoin Morgan would definitely look to use Varun Chakravarti in the power play with the new ball, so that the sooner they get rid of Virat Kohli, the better it is for them.
Also, in the last game, we saw with KKR, they got in two players. Ferguson, who was fit, so he was obviously coming back into the team. But the other player who got a chance and did pretty well was Shakib Al Hasan. Do you think he's going to play today as well?
Oh, they've got plenty of options. Look, their bench strength and all, Kiran, is very good. So they've got players who could replace and straight away get into the 11 and start performing because of the experience that they have. So they would. Shakib got a game, so he's in the groove. Basically, he's got that sort of feel of this leg of IPL. So you can, I mean, if Loki Ferguson is fit, they would look to bring in Loki Ferguson, or they would stick to Shakib. And this is where I think if Dre Russ is 80%, would they look to play him or not? So that's a question that we'll soon get the answer for it.
I think a 80% fit Andre Russell would be definitely in the 11 in place of Shakib Al Hasan, because no disrespect to Shakib, he's a great all-rounder, but Dre Russell just brings in a different dimension. So then quickly, Venky, one player to watch out for, considering that Dre Russell is not playing today. So far, we don't know. One player that you would be watching out for in KKR camp?
I would look for Varun Chakravarti. Yeah. The bowling side. Batting, I would like to see Shubman Gill score some runs. Yeah, use his experience being at the, having played for India.
Okay. Looks like an exciting game. So your final thoughts, where do you think the advantage lies? And what does the heart and the brain of the OG say?
Oh, no. Look, yes, both my heart and mind, I would like to go with, and I would like to go with Royal Challengers Bangalore.
That's fantastic. Not just because you're from Bangalore, but I think it's high time IPL had a new champion. We've seen the CSK.
So here, Kiran, can we?
Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. Here, can we say, Isala Cup Namde? Can we?
Isala Cup Namde. Fingers crossed. But no, I mean, I think the league needs a new champion, and I hope RCB provides that. If not RCB, DC maybe. But yeah, we need a new champion. On that note, I'm going to end today's episode. Venky, thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts. We'll have a special episode tomorrow where we're going to be discussing a topic which is quite controversial, or we could say that might raise a few eyebrows. So do join in tomorrow. But for the moment, thank you so much, Venky, and see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Kiran.